Welcome to the Home Show, where we discuss all things Home Magazine on WLNI. Looking for design inspiration, delicious fare, home improvement tips, or hospitality ideas, all from local experts? You've come to the right place. The Home Show is presented by Piedmont Floor Show. Take your next step with them. Find them online at PiedmontFloorShow.com. Now, make yourself at home. Here are your hosts, Home Editor Donna Dunn, Home Publisher Trish Roth, and Rich Roth.
Hello, and welcome to the Home Show. We are glad you are joining us. I am Donna, the editor of Home Magazine, and I'm here with Trish, our publisher, and Ashley, our producer. And Rich isn't here, I think maybe because he heard of what we're going to be talking about here in the intro. Not sure.
Yeah, he wouldn't be invited to what we're going to talk about either. So.
Yeah, a little teaser. But we have a great show, and actually he's going to be missing out because we have some really interesting topics coming up. We have Keith from Plumb Care Plumbing coming to join us in a few minutes, and then Jeff with Central Virginia Mulching. And so just taking care of business around the house this morning here on the Home Show. And gosh, it feels like there's so much to do given all the wintry weather we've had, all the branches down, all the water everywhere. It's been a lot.
It was quite a week, wasn't it?
Yes. So, man, winter. It's really been a winter.
Yeah, we're looking forward to spring because we're talking about early spring, the issue of Home Magazine, which I feel like is supposed to be like, hey, we're getting there, y'all, but it doesn't feel like it these last couple of weeks.
Yes. Well, and not totally because of the weather, but because of other things going on in life. I am having a little bit of a belated Galentine's Day party, which I would invite you guys to, but it's actually my mom's party. So it's sort of her and her friends. And they're my friends too, but we're having a little Galentine's party at my house and this weekend, and I think that's going to be fun.
Well, sure. What are some of the things you're doing for it?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to say, because Ashley and I are both super Parks and Rec fans, that I first heard about Galentine's Day from Parks and Rec.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Leslie and Ann and their buds having a little gals Valentine's kind of party. And I don't know if that's the actual origination, but that's the first time I ever heard it.
I mean, same here. Somebody else can let us know if it came from somewhere else. But we're going to go with Leslie Knope and Parks and Rec.
Yeah. And I feel like it's become a more popular thing to kind of get together with your friends. And I'm not doing anything too extraordinary. My mom's making a cake. I'm making some quiches and some little sandwiches. And the main impetus was my mom over the years, she loves a yard sale. Mom, if you're listening, you know, like you used to take me to so many yard sales and estate sales. She just loves things that are kind of vintage. And she has collected, especially with her friend Faye, like all of these pink dishes, like pink, what is that called? It's like depression wear. I don't know. They're beautiful. Like have little roses and all these really pretty little designs on them. And I keep them in my like kind of glass cabinet, but I don't use them a lot. Not sure why my husband doesn't want to, pink depression wear all the time, but my mom and I love these pink dishes. So we're like, for Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, we should have a little lunch, invite some friends over.
So an excuse to use the fine china.
It's basically an excuse to get the stuff out of the cabinet. And I highly recommend it, especially because I just was reading this article in The Atlantic about how Americans don't party enough. Like we don't, and by party, I mean like gather.
Right.
Like,
they don't mean like stay up till 2 a.m. with your buddies bar hopping and stumble or drive home. Don't drive home.
Yeah, just literally getting together with people, inviting people over to your house or going out to dinner or bowling. You were just bowling, right, Ashley?
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I haven't been out in months. I mean, a lot of people were talking about having a rough 2024. I had a pretty rough end of 2024 to the point where I more or less didn't have much of a choice but to stay in my house all the time. So to finally get out a couple weeks ago and just go bowling with some people and meet new people was a little nerve-wracking for me because it had been a while, but I had the best time. I mean, such a good time, and you want to do it a little bit a little bit more. And I'm a homebody, so I don't like to get out too much. But once in a while, it's really good for the soul.
It really is.
And I wonder why people don't. I mean, we used to entertain a lot more than what we do now. And I was just talking to my friend. She goes, I just need to have somebody or have people over just so I can really do a deep clean in my house, So I don't know if part of it is just like, a lot of people work really hard and just, having that just like one more thing to do. But I love having people over. It is a lot of work and you want your house to be perfect when your friends come over. I mean, I just like to be a good hostess.
I can feel that, strongly. I've been trying really, really hard the last several years to potentially buy a house or figure that whole situation out. That keeps it's a fluid situation all the time with interest rates and blah, blah, blah. And we'll talk more about that as the home show goes on through the coming months. But, that's been a struggle. But it's one of the main things I want to do. We have your little own place, you nest, you clean it up all nice, and then you want to throw a party. And not show it off necessarily, but just I want you guys here. I want to throw something on the grill. I want to make little deviled eggs and stuff and put something in the crock pot. I really genuinely want that.
Oh yes, and our friend Connie is bringing deviled eggs. There should be deviled eggs at a party.
I feel like that is a must.
Yes, absolutely. But hey, guys, you also can just keep it low key.
Yeah,
honestly, the chocolate bark in this issue of Home Magazine, if you try that, it's so super easy.
Did you make it?
It looks fancy. I did make it.
Okay.
I put little pink and white M&Ms in it, and it looks very Valentine. Very
Perfect.
fun.
And it doesn't need to be Valentine's or Galentine's to make any of those recipes. You just want chocolate, just make some.
Chocolate is good anytime.
And the bark too, it'll have a long shelf life just because there's nothing in it that's really going to spoil. It's just chocolate. So
yeah.
good. I'm glad you tried that. It was really easy to do.
I mean, and when I say it's easy, take it from me. Trisha's the cook. I am the utilitarian cook. So if I say it's easy, it is really easy. And I'm thankful for that. So gosh, we have so much good stuff coming up in today's show that we need to get going. And we're going to kick it off right now with Your Next Step with Anthony Markham of Piedmont Floor Show.
It's time to figure out what your next step is on the Home Show. Presented by Piedmont Floor Show.
Time now for Your Next Step with Anthony Markham of Piedmont Floor Show. And Anthony, today we're talking about your turnkey service. As Piedmont Floor Show continues to grow, you guys are now offering all kinds of different things. What do you mean by turnkey service?
Everything, literally turnkey. Walk in your door, we can redo your living room, kitchen, bathroom. If you got that unfinished basement, we can finish that for you. We can also do bonus spaces if you have that unfinished attic upstairs and you need that extra room for your growing family. We can also do that as well.
So people who have used Piedmont Floor Show in the past obviously love the relationship, the customer service, the quality of work. Now you've been able to expand that to include virtually everything.
Virtually everything.
Short of building a new house for someone.
Yes, of course. Our biggest thing that we added is our design aspects. We've added our cabinet lines and cabinet installation, countertops, and countertop installation as well. Those are big factors that go in and revolve around the flooring, your tile backsplashes, your bathrooms, new vanities, anything to do with those remodeling of those areas. Now we can cover it 100%.
Anthony, what's the benefit to the customers for you guys offering this turnkey service?
Just come into the one place. It'll be like family to you. When you walk in the door, somebody's going to greet you. You're going to deal with different people in their expertise. You're going to deal with me and the kitchen design. You're going to deal with Anya as far as the interior design, picking all your colors. You could deal with Bree or Lori or Nancy when it comes to choosing your tile, your backsplash, your flooring. So we have somebody there that knows what's going on, and you will feel like family there.
Turnkey service at Piedmont Floor Show. Take your next step with them.
Take your next step with Piedmont Floor Show. Find them online at PiedmontFloorShow.com or on Facebook at Piedmont Floor Show. It's time to get our house in order. We'll be right back. Now back to the Home Show, presented by Piedmont Floor Show. Make yourself at home.
Welcome back to the Home Show. We are so glad to have you here with us today. And As we said at the top, we are interviewing some really interesting guests, and we're going to kick it off with Keith Settje from Plumb Care Plumbing. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And Keith, before we started, we were talking about how this is really a family business. Tell us a little bit about Plumb Care Plumbing.
All right. Well, my brother Ken started Plumb Care Plumbing in 1991. We both originally came to Lynchburg to go to Liberty University and figured out a way to cram 4 years of college into 38. But it seems the Lord led us into a different direction, and Ken got involved in a plumbing company in 1985 and did due diligence and took about 5+ years to earn his master's license, and started Plumb Care Plumbing on his birthday in 1991, and been going strong ever since.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, you've come in to the studio after a pretty wintry week, and, we definitely want to beat any wintertime blues by not having plumbing issues this time of year. But are you seeing a lot of folks call with, like, busted pipes or frozen pipes, those kinds of things?
Generally in the wintertime, especially when you have extended periods of cold weather. I mean, the water obviously freezes at 32 degrees, but it has to be able to penetrate deep into your house in areas to freeze a pipe. So it has to be colder than that for lengths of time, but we've had some of that this year, yeah.
What advice do you have for folks? I mean, hopefully not too many people have run into this, but what advice do you have for folks to keep pipes from freezing?
Well, one of the main culprits is that people will use their hoses on their outside hose bib throughout the fall for whatever purposes, washing cars or watering gardens or whatever, and they leave the hose on, or they might even use it in cold weather and leave the hose on. And those are usually vacuum breaker hose bibs that need the hose removed so that little bit of water can drain out. Otherwise, that is one of the main culprits that will freeze. Look for any cracks or anything in your foundation. If your house is elevated, such as a mobile home or a trailer home, if you have good skirting, and that under there to keep the wind from driving the cold weather deeper. Fix any of those areas that may need attention, because there's a lot of water pipes under those. So it's keeping your house maintained mainly.
So as long as you don't have hoses hooked up to your outdoor spigots, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
Yeah, we have those like little covers for ours. Does that help any? Like to put the little cover on the outside faucet?
Yeah. I mean, that helps. Sometimes those faucets are on like a garage that's not heated on the inside. Mm-hmm. So those will help keep the air from penetrating deeper, the cold air, yeah.
Yeah, this is helpful. We're talking with Keith from Plumb Care Plumbing, and you can learn more about them at plumbcareplumbing.com. They're always there because they plumb care, right?
Exactly right.
So what other kinds of projects are really popular this time of year? I know we were thinking, it might be interesting to hear a little bit about water heaters because, I mean, gosh, you can replace those any time of year, but that's a good indoor project, to make sure you don't have any leaks or problems. And what advice do you have?
Well, there's not necessarily a lot of advice concerning water heaters because they literally just sit there and do their thing. If there's a leak that's going to manifest itself on those, you're going to see it, unless you have your water heater in a location that you never go to. Mm-hmm. Mine's in the basement in a mechanical room where my laundry is, so I'm in there all the time. Others might be in a closet that it's strictly for the water heater, and they never look in there. They don't use it. But otherwise, by and large, they are designed to function and work, and they generally do. Just watching for leaks, making sure you don't have one. If the water heater itself is leaking, it probably has to be replaced. If there's a leaking pipe coming to it or an element that might burn out, then those can usually be repaired without replacing the entire water heater, which is a much more major expense.
Talk about tankless water heaters. Do you have similar, just because it doesn't hold a whole tank of water, but are there things to look out with that, or is one better than the other?
I don't know that I would say one is better than the other. Again, they're pretty much maintenance free as well. So I don't know that I have any advice regarding any kind of maintenance on those. But a lot of people are opting for those now because they do supply an endless supply of hot water, whereas a 50-gallon electric or even a gas water heater that you may have, if you have visitors from out of town and you all of a sudden have a double the amount of showers being taken, more dishwasher running, more laundry, you could find yourself running out of water potentially at given times. But with a tankless water heater, never a worry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those who don't know, explain how a tankless water heater works.
Well, there's gas tankless water heaters that run on propane gas or natural gas, and there's also electric tankless water heaters. So depending upon what you have, but either one will continue to function. And there's a heating system built into it that as water flows through it, the water is heated up. So there's no tank full of hot water like you see with your regular water heater. It's designed to heat the water as it flows through it. So as long as water is flowing through it and it's functioning properly, it's heating that water up to a designated temperature, usually around 120 degrees, 130 degrees maybe.
Very helpful. So again, we're talking with Keith with Plumb Care Plumbing. And you were telling us that you do camera inspections. What are those used for, and how does that work?
The camera inspections are mainly for sewage and drain lines. People may have experienced different kinds of backups going on with their sewer lines, their main drain line leaving their house. And we have a camera that's designed to be able to go into those pipes and be fed into as far as, I think ours will go about 150 feet. So you can get out there quite a ways. Generally, that's far enough off most people's property that if you get that far out, you're probably into the city main, and then they're not responsible for that anymore. But it helps see root problems from trees if there's breaks in the line. We've had a number of issues that we have found where it could even be something when the house was built and a PVC fitting, the weight of the dirt pushed the fitting off and now it's sagged, and so therefore the pipe doesn't line up with the fitting anymore, or it just simply broke. A host of things could happen, but with the camera, we're able to go down in there and actually tell how far out the break is. It's not a guessing game because as it feeds in, it counts how many feet you are into the line. Okay, we're 38 feet in. We know we don't have to dig up the whole front yard to find it. Mm-hmm. We know roughly where it's at. So it has a light built into it, so it's just a lighted camera that goes down and sees any kind of blockage, any kind of cracks, or see where other lines tie into it from a different whatever, bathroom or whatever might be tying into it.
So you're like plumbing detectives.
Basically, yeah. There's also a tracer that can go in it along with it so that, like in a commercial setting, a number of times they're not sure where those lines are under the floor. And we're not sure necessarily either. Even though we're feeding a line in, we're 38 feet, but 38 feet this direction or slightly a little bit more this direction, and that's where the break is. Do you dig here, dig here? But with a tracer that will actually kind of beep as you go, you can narrow it down within a couple of feet or even less of where exactly that break is, as opposed to a 5 or 10 foot swath somewhere in the middle of the floor.
So interesting. So what would make a person call and ask for that service?
If there's a continual reason why their line is getting stopped up, well, you're just out here last week and stop the line, and now it's stopped up again. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what's causing that? That shouldn't happen. There's 1,000 different reasons as to why a line might stop up. That's about the only thing that we don't guarantee because we don't know what people are putting down their drains. So we come in and stop it. Well, you'll never stop up again for another year. We can't guarantee that. We don't know what they're putting down there. Small children, we love small children because they like to flush things and put things down there. But you don't know if they're going to do that. You don't know if it's a tree root that we knocked it by running our drain machine down and clearing the line. Doesn't mean that we got every single root and everything and it looks brand new. It's just not the case. So why is it getting stopped up again and again and again? Well, now we can send the camera down there and find the culprit, hopefully.
So would you go down through the area that you think just, from experience, we had a simultaneous problem where we had a puppy who put a dog bone down the toilet. And around the same time, we had somebody else who's not in this room, who won't be named, who decided to flush leaves down. So would you go down like through a toilet or through, the sink, or like how do you get to that area to see where the problem is?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. A toilet would be one way to do it. To pull a toilet off, that's usually at least a 3-inch line. It has to be at least a 3-inch drain line there. Sometimes they're 4-inch. But there's another way generally that if whoever plumbed that house when it was originally built left an access place, and we just simply call it clean out. You can take the clean out cover off, then you can look in there and clean out the line as you need to.
Okay.
So it might have a separate access way through a clean out. If that's not available, we've had to pull toilets and can feed our camera down there, our tracer, our drain machine to clean it, whatever, But generally it's the main line coming out of the house is minimum a 3-inch line. So the camera and all that fits down it easily.
I bet you found some interesting things.
Oh, yeah.
I now have a mental picture of Trisha's Labrador like flushing the toilet with a bone in it.
I know.
Who knows? If you got a trained dog that uses the toilet, you're in good shape.
Oh, it was so we just could not figure out what was going on, and then we found out there was two separate incidences that were causing major issues. So I'm like, good fun times, yeah.
So we're talking with Keith with Plumb Care Plumbing. And one other thing that we found out that we thought was really interesting, we'd love for you to talk about, is that you guys do remodeling jobs. And so talk a little bit about if someone is listening and they're thinking about doing a kitchen or a bathroom remodel, how can you help?
All right. Well, I appreciate that. We certainly can help in a lot of ways, depending upon exactly what you want to do. We are a plumbing contractor, but we also have a Class A building license as well. So we are in the remodeling business. We are a turnkey business where we do everything in-house with the skill that we have with our workers. We can go in and mainly the plumbing areas of the house, bathrooms, kitchens. Recently, we went into somebody's basement who was wide open, and we designed, framed up, and added a bathroom in their basement that wasn't there before.
Oh, wow.
And as I said, we're turnkey, so we can do the framing, we can do the drywall, we can do ceramic if you want to do that. Of course, we do all the plumbing things. That would be a given, but we'll put floors in, drop ceilings, finished ceilings, stipple ceilings, windows, pretty much a turnkey thing. And it's a free estimate. If you have something you've been wanting to do and you're ready to do it, give us a call. We'll send out our estimator or the free estimate, and can even give you a little advice. Hey, I was looking to do this or what that. Well, here's things that we've tried in the past. Here's some pictures of other stuff we've done, so we can kind of give you a good idea of hopefully making what you want happen to happen.
Yeah, I had no idea that you do all that. And really, especially adding a bathroom to a home, like you were saying, maybe in a basement or an unfinished area, that can add a lot of value to a home.
Sure it can. And sometimes people are like, I should have done this years ago. We're down here all the time. And now it makes that living room or that den or whatever they had down there more enjoyable. Yeah.
So if someone's listening and they think, hey, I would like to have you come by and take a look and give me an estimate, what's the best way to get in touch with Plumb Care Plumbing?
Well, our office hours are 7:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. From noon to 1, our office manager has the two ladies in there take their lunch, so you may not reach somebody at that particular time, but 7:30 to 4:30. 434-237-9323 would be a number, or you could go to our website. I'm drawing a blank exactly what that is.
PlumbCarePlumbing.com.
There you go. Drawing a blank. Thank you.
Ashley wrote it down for me, so I'm good on that. But it is easy to find. Plumb Care Plumbing, like PLUMB CarePlumbing.com, because you plumb care, which I think is very, very cute and accurate.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Keith, for being here and talking with us today. Before I go, I heard you have like an interesting hobby that you might want to share.
Oh, well, as long as you're giving me the opportunity and you have 2 or 3 hours.
Well, in the last couple of minutes we have here, Keith.
All right. Well, I've talked with Kenny about this before in the past, and one of my passions is deer hunting. And there's a lot of deer in the city, and they do cause a lot of damage. They bring disease into the backyard by dropping off ticks. and there's a lot of driving issues with them. So I usually use those 3 Ds, the disease, the damage, and the driving, to say why there's just probably too many deer within the city limits. And so one of the things I enjoy doing is just urban archery bow hunting. And they've opened that up probably more than 20 years ago. A lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. But if you have too many deer, we all love them. They're beautiful, but they're also delicious. So if you have too many deer, reach out. We'd love to give you a hand. Well, I shouldn't say we, because Plumb Care's not doing that. Keith is doing that. But anyway, that's my passion. That's one of the things I love, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I know there are some people who'd be interested in that. And so they could call Plumb Care and ask for you.
Oh, sure.
Ask for Keith Settje. And Keith, thank you again for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We'll be back in just a moment with more of The Home Show.
For more design tips and ideas for your home, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Home Magazine VA. Welcome back to The Home Show, presented by Piedmont Floor Show. Did you miss any part of the show? Visit WLNI.com/The Home Show to hear all our past programs.
Welcome back. We are so glad to have you with us here on The Home Show. And we are like taking care of business around the house and the yard today. We were just talking to Keith with Plumb Care Plumbing. And as we were saying, if you missed any part of that, you can always catch it later at WLNI.com/The Home Show. Or listen to it. You can listen to any episode on a podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now we're going to keep going with like things you might want to be thinking about around the house this time of year. We have Jeff from Central Virginia Mulching. Welcome back, Jeff.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, we were just saying all of us have experienced like a lot of tree branches, a lot of tree issues in these last few weeks, so much weather. And we would just love for you to talk a little bit about like what does Central Virginia Mulching do that could help with that problem?
Oh, thanks. There's a lot of things there. One, the storm cleanup. Even coming here today, I still see trees down everywhere. And we were just talking before this about how wet the ground is. And a lot of times you just can't get in there and get these trees up, or you're going to tear up the yard. So once the ground dries out a little bit, we can come in either with the mulching machine and mulch this stuff up so you're not picking up everything by hand and trying to cart it off. We can come in and mulch it up and leave it there. We can clear up the underbrush of some of the other stuff that hasn't fallen. Maybe there's some in the woods that have crossed over and like look like pixie sticks. We can go in and mulch all that up and just kind of get it cleared up from that. We can also do some preventive for the next storm that might be coming, whether it's in the summer for windstorms or maybe they're closer to the house or maybe a garage or something. We can get that cleared up, get some of those trees taken down, mulched up. And if you don't want to leave the mulch, then we do have the ability to come in and run it through our chipper and haul those chips off. It just depends on what you want to do in that area.
Yeah, what size jobs are you talking about? Like I'm thinking in my yard, I have a number of branches, but is that enough to call in? Like, is that too small? Like, do you have to have like big trees that you would come in and take care of? Or like what size jobs are we talking about?
Well, we have a motto, no job too small. And we've talked about this in the past, that we will come in and help you. But there is a cost for us to transport and mobilize our equipment and our men. But if you have a need, we'll come help you. It doesn't have to be a 5-day job. It could be a half-a-day job. You need us? Call us.
With the ground being so saturated, are you able to do everything that you normally would be able to do as far as with your equipment?
Right now, as the weather is today, no. I would, if anybody was to call me, first I'd tell them the ground is just way too wet. If I try to come in and clear up something near your house, I'm going to destroy your lawn. Mm-hmm. If it's back in the woods and the snow hasn't melted, once it starts melting, that's still water in the ground. And I'm going to tear that area up too. I may even get stuck because of how wet it is. So we have to let some of this water and moisture dissipate from the ground, dry up a little bit. Then we can come in and do everything. And sometimes, even if we have a cold spell and everything starts freezing, we can come in then because the ground actually will freeze for 3 to 8 inches deep, and we don't have to worry about tearing everything up. But where we're at now in the weather, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks before we can come in and do something.
So we're talking. We're talking with Jeff from Central Virginia Mulching, and we're talking about dealing with all the downed trees and branches. And I'm just wondering, as people are thinking about, warmer weather hopefully coming someday in a few weeks, and wanting to get things looking nice around the house. What are like some proactive things that you can do to kind of plan out, maybe keeping this kind of thing from happening next winter? Like, can you come in and assess trees or take down trees that just probably aren't going to make it through another ice storm?
Sure. So, like we talk about the windstorms and stuff that'll come in the summer, we can come and take a look at what you have. If you have some undergrowth that's really choking out some of the other trees, or you have some autumn olive that's growing up everywhere, we can come through, we can mulch that down. We can come through with a root rake that goes on the front of the machine. It digs down about 12 inches. We can rip all those roots out, all the brush, briars, and saplings, get that clean. And if it's something that's close to a structure, we're not the person to take that tree down. Call Tommy the woodsman. He's going to do a great job for you. But if it's away from a structure, absolutely. We can put that tree, set it on the ground, mulch it up, and if it's leaning one way or another, you can stop that before it starts. And we're happy to come in and take care of that and turn it into a nice aesthetic mulch for you.
You just mentioned roots, and I just started thinking about the bamboo.
Mm-hmm.
It's so invasive. Are you able to just kind of, can you take care of that problem too?
As far as bamboo, we can come in and we can mulch that down to the ground, and we can take our root rake that goes on the machine, and we go down about 12 inches and rip the roots out. Mm-hmm. We never guarantee that they'll never come back. Like you said, they're very invasive, but we can take up a lot of it and slow it down to where you can manage it.
They're kind of like on runners, right? Where they'll just kind of,
They are. And again, we don't promise that it's going to go 100% away, but we can reduce the majority of it.
Okay.
Again, we're talking with Jeff from Central Virginia Mulching. As you're listening, you want to learn more about their business. They're online at centralvamulching.com. And Jeff, like one thing that I think I hear you guys do a lot that is interesting is like when you have to clear a lot, like you've bought a lot, you maybe want to build something there. Why is it so important to get someone to come in and really clear the lot?
Sure. A prime example, we just did a building lot out in Concord. It was 3 acres. It was so thick. Somebody had logged it before, and it had grown up so thick, the soil engineer could not get in there. And they couldn't lay out where the septic tank was, where the well was going to be. And you can't get your permit until you go through the health department where your septic and well is going to be. Well, before you get your permit, you're not supposed to do land disturbance and start excavating and tearing up the soil. So what we did, we come in and we mulched everything down. Now the soil engineer can do his testing. He can lay everything out, put your well where you need it to be, put it up on plans, get it to the county or the city. They can approve your permit. Now you're golden. You can start doing your excavation, and they can see what they're working with. They can see if they've got any big rocks or boulders that they can contend with.
So how long does that mulching process normally last? Like if somebody knows that they need to have that done and have an engineer come out, like how far in advance can you schedule that before it would grow back and become an issue again?
Oh, if we was to come out and mulch it, let's just say in March, you're not going to have any growth back before the end of the year.
Okay.
It would be good. Matter of fact, we did a lot for a company out toward Appomattox. And actually, after we mulch it, they come in and they planted grass seed, and it turned it almost into a yard when they were done. And they still haven't built on it, but they're waiting to build.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like for folks who do have land and they sell the timber on it, do they have someone like you come in and clear it before they plant new trees, or how does that work?
It just depends on the people that own it. Sometimes they'll stagger where they're going to plant, so they go in between. Some people want to develop it, and some people just, hey, they got their money and they're going to let nature do its course and grow back what it's going to grow. But yeah, we can come in and clean some of that up and open areas up so it doesn't look like a bomb went off.
Yeah. Well, and when it's cleared, honestly, and then they replant it, say like in pines, it's so pretty because it's so like uniform and it doesn't have all the brush and what have you. So you make it look really nice.
Yeah.
Which makes me think of spring cleaning. And with spring, hopefully not too far in the future, is it a good time to call and set up an appointment or have you come out and look at something if you want something done in the spring?
Yeah, absolutely. We do all of our estimating on Thursday. So we take everybody's calls throughout the week. I put a schedule together on Thursday, and I go out and look at their properties, give them an estimate, tell them what's our timeline if they want to get on the schedule. And, for a long time, we always advertised brush, briar, saplings. If you have brush and briars and saplings that are just an eyesore around your house or on your property, give us a call. But we learned through the years that it's so much more. Brush, briars, and saplings, but we have people that want to create deer food plots. We have people on their farms want trails for their ATVs so they can get around to go hunting and stuff. We have camping sites. People down next to the creek, they want to have a place set up for their camper. So we'll come in and we'll mulch all that down, get it cleared so they can set their campers. So there's just so much that we can do other than just storm cleanup, to make your property really look nice throughout the year.
Yeah, and I think on your website, again, centralvamulching.com, you have pictures of your equipment because it's not like just a wood chipper. You guys have big equipment that comes in and can create these trails and really get in there and do a lot of work.
Oh, absolutely. We have not only our mulching machine that goes in, we have 2 mulching machines that can run together. We also have the 55-foot boom trucks. We've got 18-inch chippers. We got dozer blades. We got root rakes. All that stuff that comes with it. Dump trucks. For hauling gravel. If you have a driveway, even though our name is mulching, if you have a driveway that needs revitalized and it's just no gravel, grass growing up in the middle, we can come in and we can straighten that out, level it out, bring in more gravel, and revitalize that driveway for you.
Oh, that's interesting. So you can also, it's like a little turnkey service then to help someone with a driveway.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you do that for new builds too, or farms, or?
We can do it for new builds. We can do it for existing driveways. If somebody's built a house and they got a big pile of dirt left over from digging the basement and it wasn't graded out, they can call us. We'll come in and we'll level it out, smooth it, and get it ready to seed or something. Big piles of stone and rock. We're doing a place out in Appomattox now, Concord, and they had piled a bunch of rocks planning to do something. Well, now they want to use it for pasture. So now we're moving all the rocks and mulching everything up, cleaning up down around the creek area for them. So very, very versatile.
Awesome. Well, in the last couple of minutes, I wanted to ask, what do you do with what you mulch up? Can you, if you came and mulched someone's trees in their yard, do they get to keep the mulch? Do they have to, how does that work?
Okay, so the mulch does a lot of different things. One, if you want to keep the mulch, you can leave it on the ground and it keeps the soil from eroding. It also kind of chokes out any of the other weeds and stuff growing. But if you want to plant grass or something like that, and you don't want the mulch, we can rake it up, scoop it up, put it in the dump truck and haul it off. We had a property, again in Concord, that we had mulched, getting ready to build, and they didn't want to leave the mulch on the ground. So we actually put it out, and we found numerous people that wanted the mulch to throw in their flower beds, their gardens for compost. And so we load it up, haul it to them, and we dump it for them. So they get mulch. The other people get it removed and ready for grass and stuff.
Well, that sounds like a win-win.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming. Again, Jeff with Central Virginia Mulching. You can learn all about them and see some great pictures of Jeff at work on their big machines at www.centralvamulching.com. Thanks, and keep clearing the way for us.
We definitely will.
We'll be back in just a moment with more of The Home Show.
We'll be right back. In the meantime, check out our latest issue of Home Magazine. Visit homemagazineva.com. There's no place like home. Welcome back to The Home Show, presented by Piedmont Floor Show.
Welcome back to the home stretch of the Home Show. We have had a great show today, and we want to thank Piedmont Floor Show. Take your next step with them online at PiedmontFloorShow.com, on Facebook at Piedmont Floor Show, or drop by their showroom on Timberlake Road and tune in for your next step each week on the Home Show. We also want to thank Keith from Plumb Care Plumbing and Jeff from Central Virginia Mulching. So much good information to take care of things around your home. If you missed that or any part of the show, you should visit WLNI.com/The Home Show. Ashley does such a great job of keeping everything there. It's so easy to find The Home Show.
Yeah. Oh, and it's a pretty simple process thanks to Kira, who does all our web stuff. She's made things very, very simple and efficient here. And if anything gets messed up, it is entirely my fault. So there's that. You know who to call and yell at if you can't find something.
We will keep that in mind, Ashley.
Because we know you yell regularly.
Well, yes, that's right. I'm such a toughie. But you also keep us straight, Ashley, on knowing what's coming up. And we have some great guests next week, right? We have Cindy with the Farmers Bank of Appomattox. I don't know why I said
Appomattox.
Appomattox.
Appomattox,
But
yeah.
yes, Appomattox. And she's going to talk about refinancing and their new location on Timberlake Road. We also have Dan Taylor with Kids Restoration and Cleaning Services to talk about cleaning up this winter. I wonder if I bring like a rug in next week, if he could just like take it with him.
Oh, I'm sure he could.
He's talked about he's had regular clients come by and just throw rugs out the window at their offices and they take care of it.
Yeah, like, hey, I just brought a rug for you, Dan. Like, I
dare you to do it.
Yeah, I
triple dog dare you.
I
We'll get it
actually
on
do have
video
one.
and put it on Facebook.
Yes,
to
that's
see
right.
what he says. And he can't say no if he's on camera.
I like how you're thinking, Ashley. Very, very clever. So, we're always trying to think ahead here on the Home Show. We're already literally, just this week, we planned our summer issue.
Right. Hard to believe.
Yeah,
I wish it was summer.
I know. It was kind of fun thinking about summer.
Yeah.
Some of the
it
topics.
was after this week for sure.
Yeah. And spring, we are rolling along on spring. Kira's designing spring right now.
Yeah.
Which won't come out until the
April
beginning
1st,
of April.
yes.
But we're hoping you're enjoying the early spring edition of Home Magazine. And if you haven't picked it up yet, you can always find it online at homemagazineva.com. There's also a little button down near the bottom of the homepage that tells you different distribution locations. So definitely would love for you to pick up one. It's got beautiful chocolate on the front. You can learn how to make that chocolate bark or peanut butter cups,
Right.
or
The
delicious
brownies.
brownies. Yeah. So, we hope that even if you're not having a Galentine's party this week, that you get together with some friends. Have a nice time this week. Hopefully we can finally get out and not have to worry about ice and snow. Maybe. I hope I didn't just ruin it for us by saying that out loud.
We'll remember who did.
Anyway, until then, have a great week.